Felix was annoyed. Why did he of all people have to spend a whole week with you? It seemed like you two were destined to be enemies. As the trip got underway, Felix continued to make it clear to everyone how much he disliked being paired with you. He would roll his eyes at your every move, and even went out of his way to insult you whenever he could. He could tell you were just as displeased with being paired together as he was. "Looks like you're stuck with me for the week," he sneered, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "This is going to be a long trip." The other students around you chatted excitedly as they paired up with their partners for the trip. Everyone seemed happy and looking forward to spending time with their friend. Meanwhile, you and Felix stood awkwardly next to each other, both of you avoiding eye contact. It was clear that the two of you were anything but excited to be paired together. Felix noticed your heavy sigh and smirked once again. He could tell you were already bothered, and he was enjoying every moment of your discomfort. "Oh, quit your whining," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "It's not like anyone else wants to be stuck with you either." As you start to walk towards the teacher, Felix quickly grabs your arm to stop you from going any further. "Where do you think you're going?" he sneers, his grip on your arm tightening. "You really think the teacher is going to care that you don't like being paired with me?" "And who would want to be paired with you instead?" he teased. "Face it, you're stuck with me, and there's nothing you can do about it." "Oh, please. Your friends probably just pity you and only hang out with you because they have to," he replied, his smirk growing even wider. The teacher announced to the class that it was time to head to their rooms. The other pairs quickly grabbed their bags and headed to the front desk to collect their room keys. "Guess it's our turn," Felix said, still holding onto your arm. "Let's go get our key and get this over with." Felix noticed your hesitation and rolled his eyes in annoyance. He knew you were still contemplating on telling the teacher about getting another room. "Oh, come on. You're really not seriously considering asking the teacher for another room, are you?" he asked, his grip on your arm growing tighter. "You're just gonna annoy the teacher, and it's not gonna make any difference. We've got to stay together, whether we like it or not." Felix finally let go of your arm and strides towards the hotel counter with confidence. "Excuse me, we are here to get our room key," he said to the clerk behind the counter, his tone of voice full of confidence.
"Oh, what a cute couple you make," she says with a warm smile.
Felix's smirk falters for a moment, but then he quickly regains his composure. He lets out a small chuckle and pats your shoulder. "Yeah, we're cute all right," he responds sarcastically.
The woman hands Felix the room key. "Here is the key to your room."
Felix takes the key and nods in response.
"It's on the second floor, room number 203. Enjoy your stay."
He turns to you and motions for you to follow him. "Come on, let's go to our room," he says. Felix heard you muttering and couldn't help but chuckle. "Oh, you mean why the lady at the counter thought we were a cute couple?" he teased. "Well, maybe she could see the chemistry between us." Felix feigns a hurt expression. "Oh, come on, don't insult me like that. You're saying you don't think we'd make a cute couple?" Felix feigned shock at your comment. "Hideous? Ouch. That stings." He playfully clutches his chest as if your words had wounded him deeply. You and Felix step into the elevator with a few other students. The elevator doors close, and the ride up to the second floor is quiet. Felix leans against the wall, trying to appear nonchalant, but it's obvious he's still teasing you.
Jacob, a friend of yours known for his charm and good looks, approaches you as you stand in the elevator with Felix. "Hey there," he says with a friendly smile. "I was wondering if you'd be up for hanging out tomorrow. Maybe we could grab breakfast together or something." Jacob returns your smile, clearly happy with your response. Great. I'll text you the details later, okay?
Felix, still standing next to you, is trying hard to mask his annoyance, but he can't help but let out a small scoff at the interaction.
Jacob glances over at Felix after noticing his scoff. He's aware that Felix is not thrilled about you hanging out with him, but he doesn't seem to be intimidated by Felix's attitude.
The elevator doors open, and the group of students shuffles out into the hallway. Felix and you walk side by side, with Felix still trying to appear unaffected, but he's visibly annoyed by Jacob's invitation. Felix takes the key out of his pocket and unlocks the door. Yep, here we are. He pushes the door open and steps inside, holding the door open for you to follow him. The room is quite small, with a single bed and a small bathroom attached. Felix drops his bag on the floor next to yours and shrugs nonchalantly. I guess there's only one bed. Looks like we're sleeping together. Felix raised an eyebrow at your protest. He was clearly enjoying teasing you. What, you don't want to share a bed with me? He asked with a smirk. I promise I don't bite. Felix lets out a scoff and shakes his head. Oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. You're not sleeping on that couch. It's tiny and uncomfortable. We can both fit in this bed just fine. Felix watches as you rummage through your bag for clothing. Yeah, good idea, he says, still pretending to act casual. I was going to take a shower myself after you. You grab your clothes and make your way into the bathroom, closing the door behind you. As he unpacks, Felix steals intermittent glances towards the bathroom door, his mind wandering to thoughts of you in the shower. Felix finishes unpacking his belongings and begins exploring the hotel room. He walks over to the small kitchen area, which is equipped with a mini fridge, microwave, and a coffee maker. He opens the fridge and scans the meager collection of snacks and drinks. Satisfied with what he sees, he closes the fridge and moves on to the remaining parts of the room. Felix turns around from the kitchen area as you step out of the bathroom. The sight of you in your soft white pajamas, hair wet and drying, takes him by surprise for a moment. He quickly masks his reaction though, and tries to maintain his cool demeanor. Took you long enough, he remarks, trying to hide his momentary distraction. Felix can't help but notice a hint of annoyance in your tone as you motion towards the bathroom. All right, I'll be quick. He picks up his clothes and heads into the bathroom, shutting the door behind him. As he prepares for his shower, he can't help but feel a strange flutter in his chest from seeing you so casually dressed. Felix showers quickly, trying to get his mind back in order. Despite the water running down his body, thoughts of you in your pajamas, hair damp and messy, keep flooding his mind. He takes a deep breath and tries to distract himself by focusing on scrubbing himself clean. In the privacy of the shower, Felix lets out a quiet mumble about Jacob. Jacob? What does he have that I don't? He's not even that good looking. He scoffs and continues to shower, his frustration growing as he thinks about you being friendly with Jacob. His annoyance growing with each word. Stupid Jacob. Thinks he can just ask you to hang out without even considering my plans. And you, why did you say yes? Can't you see that I have plans for us? He scrubs his hair angrily, trying to divert his attention from the jealousy that's starting to bubble up inside him. Felix shuts off the water and quickly dries himself off with a towel. He steps out of the shower, his body still damp, and hastily slips on a pair of gray sweatpants. He runs his fingers through his wet hair, trying to tame it. Felix stands in front of the mirror, his chest bare, and continues muttering to himself, his thoughts fueled by his growing jealousy and frustration. Why can't you see that I'm the one who cares about you? Those other guys can't compare to me. He runs his hand through his damp hair once again, trying to compose himself before exiting the bathroom. Felix walks out of the bathroom, his hair still slightly wet, water droplets trickling down his bare chest and toned abs. He's aware of the effect his appearance might have on you, but he pretends to be completely nonchalant, as if he didn't notice the water trailing down his skin. Felix notices your widened eyes as you glance his way. He can't help but smirk at your reaction, his ego boosted by your involuntary gaze on his exposed torso. He pretends to casually run a hand through his damp hair, secretly relishing the fact that you seemed a little taken aback by his appearance. He plops down on the edge of the bed, his sweatpants riding dangerously low on his hips. Felix watches as you approach, pretending to be uninterested in your actions. You're not planning on sleeping on the couch, are you? Felix rolls his eyes, unimpressed by your decision. Seriously? The couch is tiny and super uncomfortable. You'll end up waking up with a sore back. Just share the bed with me. As you reach out for the pillow, Felix grabs it, pulling it away from your grasp. He holds it above his head, out of your reaching distance. Nuh-uh, you're not sleeping on the couch. And that's final. No, I don't think I will. Felix stands up, the pillow still held high above his head, out of your reach. He looks down at you, a mischievous glint in his eyes. You're sleeping in the bed, like it or not. Felix scoffs and shakes his head. No chance. I'm not sleeping on the couch either. We're both sleeping in the bed. End of discussion. He holds the pillow up even higher, as if to dare you to try and take it from him again. As you tiptoe and try to jump for the pillow, Felix takes a step closer, bringing his toned, damp chest tantalizingly close to you. He looks down at you with a slight smirk, seeming to enjoy the proximity. Felix notices the slight, intimidated look in your eyes as you stare at his shirtless chest. He smirks and leans a little closer, closing the remaining distance between you. His proximity is almost overwhelming, and he can practically feel your breath against his damp skin. Felix raises an eyebrow at your whispered plea, his smirk growing wider. He lowers the pillow and leans in even closer, his face now mere inches from yours. His voice is a low rumble as he responds. Please what? Not happening. He takes another step closer, his body now pressed against yours. His eyes lock onto yours, their intensity almost electric. He speaks softly, his voice a low whisper. You're sleeping in the bed, with me. Without any warning, Felix quickly scoops you up and throws you over his shoulder, his strong arm wrapped firmly around your waist. He starts walking towards the bed, a smirk still present on his face. He plops you down on the bed, the mattress bouncing slightly under your weight. He hovers over you for a moment, his chest still bare and glistening with water droplets. His expression is a mix of amusement and determination as he looks down at you. Felix chuckles and throws the pillow at you, a playful grin on his face. Get comfortable, because we're sharing this bed, whether you like it or not. Felix can't help but smirk at your comment, clearly enjoying the banter between you. You know you love it. He walks over to the light switch and flicks it, plunging the room into darkness. Felix watches you angrily grab the blanket and cover up, amused by your grumpy demeanor. He walks over to the other side of the bed and slips under the covers, lying next to you. Despite the darkness, he can feel your presence just a few inches away from him. He stares up at the ceiling, the silence in the room almost deafening. Despite his earlier playfulness, he finds himself feeling strangely nervous, his heart beating just a bit faster than usual. He glances over at you, wondering if you're also feeling the same tension. Felix swallows his nervousness and musters up the courage to break the silence. He turns towards you in the dark, his voice a soft whisper. You still upset about the whole sharing the bed thing? He waits for your response, the tension in the air growing thicker by the second. The only sound in the room is the faint hum of the air conditioning and their steady breathing. Felix lets out a small sigh of relief, his heart rate returning to normal as he hears your muttered response. He smiles slightly in the darkness, knowing you're at least not completely mad at him. Felix feels you shifting on the bed, and then suddenly he feels the blanket being pulled towards him, giving him a portion of it. "Thanks," Felix murmurs, his voice barely above a whisper. He pulls the blanket over himself, feeling a strange mix of gratitude and confusion at your unexpected gesture. Felix lets out a soft sigh, feeling the comfort of the room surround him. He relaxes into the bed, the tension slowly leaving his body as he steals glances at you in the darkness. In the quiet intimacy of the dark room, Felix can't contain his curiosity any longer. He turns his head once again and whispers, his voice betraying a hint of jealousy. "So, I couldn't help but notice you were talking to Jacob earlier. You two seem pretty close." Felix tries to hide the pang of jealousy that stabs at his heart as you mention knowing Jacob since elementary school. He doesn't want to admit it to himself, but the thought of you being close with someone else makes him feel an uncomfortable mix of envy and unease. He tries to sound casual as he replies, though there's an undertone of possessiveness in his voice. "Oh, really? That long, huh?" Felix notices the hint of resignation in your voice, and he decides to press further, wanting to know more about your relationship with Jacob. "So, you guys hang out a lot then? You seem comfortable around him." He tries to sound nonchalant, but there's a tinge of curiosity in his tone. Felix's eyebrows furrow in surprise at your answer. He wasn't expecting you to say that Jacob rarely talks to you. He doesn't talk to you? He tries to keep his voice neutral, but can't help the confusion and a hint of satisfaction at the fact. Felix feels a strange mixture of fascination and jealousy as you revealed your past crush on Jacob. On one hand, he's intrigued by the fact that someone as beautiful and kind as you had feelings for someone else, but on the other hand, the mention of Jacob triggers a pang of envy within him. "I see." He tries to keep his voice even, not wanting to reveal his emotions just yet. Felix's jealousy intensifies as you express your excitement about spending more time with Jacob, but he tries his best to hide his true feelings. He forces a casual tone, but there's a hint of bitterness in his voice. "Yeah, guess you have something to look forward to. How nice." Felix hesitates for a moment, caught off guard by your question. He wasn't expecting you to ask about his own romantic interests, and the topic hits a nerve within him. He clears his throat, trying to deflect your question. "Me? Nah, not really interested in anyone in our class." Felix bristles at your mention of Sally, a girl in their class who everyone knows has a crush on him. "Sally? Psh, she's not my type." He tries to sound dismissive, but it's clear that the topic of conversation makes him uneasy. Felix feels a mix of relief and satisfaction hearing you call Sally a little weird. "Yeah, she's definitely strange. Always hanging around me and trying to get my attention. Glad we agree on that." Felix is pleased that you seem to have a similar opinion about Sally. He continues talking, enjoying the conversation. "I just can't imagine why she likes me. I mean, I'm kind of an a-hole, aren't I?" he says jokingly. Felix grins at your blunt reply, his arrogance amused by your honest statement. "Yeah, I know. I guess I have that bad boy image everyone seems to find so irresistible." He smirks, playing it cool. Felix smiles at your scoff and laugh, loving the fact that he's able to get a reaction out of you. He decides to push your buttons a little bit more. "What? You don't find my attitude attractive?" he teases, his smirk growing wider. Felix pretends to be hurt by your statement, his hand clutching at his chest like a dramatic actor. "Oh, ouch. You know that stings, right? You're telling me you're not into the whole bad boy thing? Felix tries to hide his feelings of disappointment when you reject his bad boy persona, but he can't help but feel a small pang of hurt. He turns away from you, pretending to get comfortable as a way to hide his disappointment. Felix hears your yawn and tries to dismiss his hurt feelings, focusing on the present moment. He glances over at you in the dark, noticing how tired you seem. Tired, huh? He asks softly. He looks over, his soft voice cutting through the comfortable silence that had filled the room. He can sense your tiredness, and a part of him wants to reach out to ease your weariness. Felix watches as you yawn again, your weariness becoming more noticeable. He can feel a softness creeping into his voice as he speaks. You should get some rest. You seem exhausted. Felix's heart races slightly at the sound of your soft whisper. He wants to say something else, but instead he whispers back softly. Good night. Felix watches as your breathing slows and deepens, indicating you're falling asleep. He continues to stare at you in the darkness, a mix of emotions swirling within him. He finds himself unable to take his eyes off you, captivated by your peaceful face. As Felix closes his eyes, visions of you flood his mind. He thinks of your soft voice, your tired face, and the way your body felt when he had you by the waist, throwing you on the bed. He remembers the brief moment of jealousy when you brought up Jacob, and the way you had defended you against Sally. His heart races slightly as he relives these moments, consumed by the intensity of his thoughts. Felix's thoughts become more and more vivid, his desires growing stronger as he tries to keep them in check. Finally, the exhaustion from the day catches up with him, and he eventually falls into a restless sleep. His body and mind are consumed by the thought of you, even in his dreams.